Hi, it's Kristen, and this is a charity shop book haul. So, all these books are ones I bought in charity shops. I have, I think, 12 books here to show you, which does sound like quite a lot, and it is. But in terms of like money spent, the total sum of these 12 books, I think, is around £12.50, which is an incredible deal. And all that money is obviously going to charities, which is also nice. So these are ones I've been accumulating throughout the first few months of this year. I didn't buy these all in one go. These were picked up here and there as and when I saw them. So first of all, I found Project Hail Mary, and this is a hardcover. I've read The Martian by Andy Weir and really enjoyed it, and I've heard good things about this one. And I'm not usually a hardback kind of girl, but I saw this for I think like £1, and it's in pretty perfect condition. Like there's a little bit of creasing and crinkling of this, but otherwise it's like really good condition. So I was like, I'm not going to pass up this book for £1 when full price it would be a lot more than that. This hardback at full price was £20 and I got it for £1, so that's pretty darn good. This one is I believe about a lone astronaut, the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, but he gets like amnesia or something. He doesn't have all his memories, and so he's trying to work out where he is and what's happened and what he needs to do. And yeah, I just really like Andy Weir's writing. I think he's quite funny, and I found in The Martian it was quite sciencey, but the way he writes all the scientific bits was still very like understandable and enjoyable because I am not a science girl. But the way he wrote it I thought was very informative, and he wrote it in a way using like metaphors and similes and things that helped me to understand what he was talking about, and I didn't feel like such a dumb bitch. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this one. Always in the mood to read more sci-fi. So we have that one. Then this next one I got in a deal. This one charity shop I go to quite a lot. There's a PDSA that does 2 books for £1. So I got this, and I got a book that I gave to my dad for his birthday that's not included in this haul. But I saw The Women of Troy by Pat Barker. This is a sort of a sequel, like a follow-up to The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker, which I read a couple of years ago. Did I read it last year? Year before? I can't remember. I read it and enjoyed it. Although I don't know enjoy is the right word. It was very stressful, very depressing. But this is following The Women of Troy. The Silence of the Girls followed Briseis, who was sort of with Achilles and Patroclus. But this, I think, still follows her, but may also follow like Helen and Cassandra. Yeah, it's after Troy has fallen and the Greeks have won. But again, it's about the women in these myths and legends when normally we focus on the men. I know there's a lot of Greek mythology retellings around at the moment, and I am fully on that bandwagon. And yeah, so I got this for 50p essentially because it was 2 for £1, as well as the other book, when originally this would have been $8.99. But I have had quite a lot of luck actually with the books I'm going to show you, of finding books that I've actually wanted to read for a while, because I've been meaning to get this one ever since I read The Silence of the Girls. So what a great find. So yeah, when I'm in the mood for a depressing story about women, I have this. Next up, in a different charity shop, this, when I saw it, I was like, and it's Winterkeep by Kristen Cashore. I, in a previous charity shop book haul, hauled Graceling Fire and Bitterblue in these covers, and they didn't have Winterkeep because it was a charity shop. You can't always find what you want to find. That's the nature of charity shops. And then I was in a completely different charity shop months later and found this, which is the 4th book in that series, in matching cover to those books. Yeah, I think I got this for £1. Originally it was $8.99. This is the 4th book in the Graceling Realm series. I believe it's a sequel to Bitterblue, because the order they came out in was Graceling Fire, Bitterblue, Winterkeep, and then there's a new one, Sea Sparrow. But chronologically it goes Fire, Graceling, Bitterblue, and I believe Winterkeep is follow up to that, because it talks about Bitterblue, who is a character in Graceling and Bitterblue. And yeah, this suggests that she's older. So I can't tell you too much about it. The Graceling Realm series is generally about like warring kingdoms and political machinations and nuances, and people trying to one up each other. And in Graceling we follow a woman called Katza, who has a grace that makes her really good at killing, and she ends up going on this mission to do with a neighbouring kingdom, where there is a princess called Bitterblue. So that's what the 1st book is. This is the 4th book. I've read the original trilogy because this was released years later, but I've not got to it. But I love that series, so I'm excited I finally have this. And other than some creasing on the spine, it's really good condition. Then, weeks later, back at that PDSA that does the 2 for £1 deal, I found some great finds. So first of all, I've got The Lamplighters by Emma Stonex. And this is Cornwall, 1972. 3 keepers vanish from a remote lighthouse miles from the shore. The entrance door is locked from the inside. The clocks have stopped. The table is set for a meal left uneaten. What happened to those 3 men out on the tower? And can their secrets ever be recovered from the waves? And then I think this takes place 20 years later, and it's like this is the women they left behind, so I don't know if that's like their wives or just their family or lovers or anything like that. This cover is gorgeous. This is one I've been wanting to read for a while, but I'd heard mixed things, so I never really wanted to buy it full price. And then I saw it in the charity shop and I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. And then because it was in the 2 for £1 deal, or was 99p on its own, I was sort of like, I feel like I need to take advantage of the deal. So I was like looking around and I couldn't see anything on the shelves that I really wanted, and I was like, maybe I'll just get a book that I think like my mum might like, or I'll get like a thriller, because that's always, fun, even if they're bad. I can tend to read thrillers quite quickly. So I was sort of like, I don't know what I'm going to get. And then I saw, because this is a thin book, The Mad Woman's Ball by Victoria Mass. It's a very slim book, so it's sort of tucked away, hidden. But I have also wanted to read this for ages, like since it came out. Another gorgeous cover. But again, I'd heard mixed things, and I was like, it's quite a small book to pay full price for. This edition is damaged a bit here, but for like collectively £1, I was like, I'm not gonna turn my nose up at that deal. So this is set in an asylum, I think, in 1885. Once a year, a grand event is held, the Mad Woman's Ball. For the Parisian elite, it is the highlight of the social season. For the women themselves, it is a rare moment of hope. Genevieve is a senior nurse who's placed her faith in Dr. Charcot and his new science, but everything changes when she meets Eugenie, the daughter of a bourgeois family. Eugenie has a secret and she needs Genevieve's help. Their fates will collide on the night of the Mad Woman's Ball. That sounded really fun. I'm always on the lookout for short books because they make me feel accomplished, having read something quickly. So what a great find those two were together. And yeah, I'm getting much more into literary fiction, and these two were ones when I first heard their synopses, like months ago. I was immediately intrigued, but I'm glad I managed to find them for such a good deal in a charity shop. Okay, now we're moving on to my second stack. Those I think were all accumulated within like February, and these next ones are all March books. So I was on my way to visit my sister one day at her work to drop off some stuff to her, and I was there a bit early, and she said, like, you know, come at 4 o'clock and then we can have a little chat because that's a lull in my day. And it took me less time to walk up there than I anticipated, and I didn't want to go in and bother her early. So there are a couple of charity shops across the road from where she works. So I was like, I'll just pop in, have a look around, just kill some time. And I ended up seeing in one of each of the charity shops just some incredible things that I'd been on the lookout or like had on wish list for ages. So I got Iron Widow by Sharon J. Zhao. This, I'd heard a lot about them, I'd heard mixed things about, but I think it sounds really cool. It's boys and girls at, I don't know if there's some sort of school or something, but they want to pilot chrysalises, which are giant transforming robots that battle aliens beyond the Great Wall. And that just sounds incredible. But it says it doesn't matter that to the boys there, female co-pilots are expected to serve as concubines and often die from the mental strain. So we follow an 18-year-old girl, and her plan is to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. So that sounds interesting. It just sounds like a really cool concept that I've not read before. And like the cover's really pretty. So I was just intrigued by this when I first heard it. It really popped off on BookTube. I've seen a couple of videos that the author has done and they seem pretty cool. And then I saw this in, like, this is like almost perfect condition, and I was sort of like, yeah, why would I not get it for like £1.50 when originally it would be £8.99, and the money is going to a charity shop. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this. And then along from that charity shop was the other charity shop I went into, and I saw Hannah Witton's For the Wolf. This one says the first daughter is for the throne, the second daughter is for the wolf. As the only second daughter born in centuries, Red has one purpose: to be sacrificed to the wolf in the wood in order to save her kingdom. Red is almost relieved to go, plagued by a dangerous power she can't control. At least she knows that in the Wilderwood she can't hurt those she loves again. But the legend lies. The wolf is a man, not a monster. Her magic is a calling, not a curse. And if she doesn't learn how to use it, the Wilderwood, and her world will be lost forever. I know that there's a sequel to this, I think has recently-ish come out. But this sounds like a little bit of a, you know, Red Riding Hood and the wolf retelling. And I'm a sucker for like the villain isn't actually a villain, or like the legend of a villain isn't actually a villain, they're a dude, and like, is there going to be a romance? I'm not entirely sure that is what this is, but it sounds like it could be. I'm a sucker for the dragon's not actually a dragon, he's a dude, or the wolf's not actually a wolf, he's a man, and the potential for that. And I want to get more into fantasies and things again. And this sounds really cool, and I've been intrigued ever since I heard about it, and then I saw it in the charity shop and I was like, perfect. So yeah, excited about this. So we have The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is about some people who get invited to this mysterious house, Hill House, one summer, and they're invited to do, I think, some like weird kooky experiments, but then things actually turn a bit sinister and dark, and it's very like ghostly. Apparently the book is actually nothing like the show. They essentially the Netflix show just took the basic premise and the names of the characters and then completely changed everything. I really enjoyed the show, but if this is completely different, that's not really indicative of anything. Shirley Jackson's an author I've never read from before, but I feel like I should. And so I'm excited to get to this at some point. This was also sort of bought as a present for my sister, so once I've read it, when it's, I don't know, I can't decide whether to give it to her for her birthday or Christmas, so I might be holding on to this for a while, but it will eventually go to my sister at some point. So yes. This next book bought as a present for my mum, but I am reading it first, because I am that kind of person. And it's The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil. This is about an aspiring painter named Iris, and this painter who comes across her and wants her to be his model, his muse for his latest painting, and she sort of reluctantly agrees and has all these conflicted feelings of wanting to change her life, but also, is this really an appropriate thing to be doing? Meanwhile, in the background is this man who she bumped into once at this exhibition, and he has sort of become infatuated with her, unbeknownst to her. So there's that sort of weird, sinister edge in the background of this very artistic, aspiring woman's story. Yeah, I just thought that sounded intriguing, and so I picked it up. And yeah, I think it sounds like a cool story. Then I got City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is about a young woman in the 1940s who moves to New York, and gets involved in this sort of glamorous fashion theatre world, and it's about her and the women, the other girls that she meets in New York, and the things they get up to and the troubles they get into. But I love books to do with like art and theatre and fashion and anything creative and artistic, and I also love a historical setting, and books about women, so this is like a combination of all those things. So yes, this has been on my radar for a while, and I've always held off from buying it. I don't know exactly why, but then I saw it in really good condition for like £2 as a hardback when originally it was $16.99. This is a hefty book, so I'm going to put it down. And then last two books I got in the same charity shop. They were both 49p each, like rounded up to 50p. And I got them most recently the other day. First of all, we have this really good condition copy of Still Life by Sarah Winman. This is one I've heard about ages ago, sort of was really intrigued by it, forgot about it, and then when I saw someone else talking about it, I was like, that book sounds familiar. Oh, it's that one. And then I've seen it out and about and never been sure about whether to buy it, and then I saw it in charity shop and I was like, well, this is like a sign. So it says 1944 Italy. As bombs fall around them, two strangers meet in the ruined wine cellar of a Tuscan villa and share an extraordinary evening. Ulysses Temper is a young British soldier. Evelyn Skinner, a 64-year-old art historian living life on her own terms. She has come to salvage paintings from the wreckage of war and relive memories of her youth. When her heart was stolen by an Italian maid in a particular room with a view, Ulysses' chance encounter with Evelyn will transform his life and all those who love him back home in London forever. Another historical one. I've got quite a few historicals, I realise. Again, this is me getting more into literary fiction. I've heard other people talk about it. It sounds interesting. That doesn't give you much detail, but intrigues me because I'm like, how do they change each other's lives and so forth. But yeah, I just thought I listened to it, and I'm loving this bright blue cover with the hints of yellow. Gorgeous. And lastly, I got Killjoy by Holly Jackson. This was written last year, 2021, so 2 years ago, as a World Book Day book, which are ones that you can get for like £1 for kids. And this is a prequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series by Holly Jackson, which I read. Did I finish it last year or the year before? I think it might have been the year before. The trilogy is incredible. One of the best like YA thriller, murder mystery, crime series I've ever read. I became so infatuated with that series. I borrowed the first book from the library and then was like, no, I need to own this and then buy the sequel. And then when the third book came out, the third book goes to places I would never have thought. And it was a wild ride. So this is a prequel before all the actual like murders and stuff that our main character Pippa looks into. And this is just that her friend hosts a 1920s themed murder mystery party, and she is drawn into this make-believe world of intrigue, deception and murder. So she plays detective for this fictional death, which I think sounds really fun, knowing that she goes on to play detective in real life deaths. I really like the characters. I really like the character of Pip mostly in these books. This one came out, I think, after the first two books were already out, but before the third one was released. But I am really intrigued to see if there's any nods to the other stories in this, because Holly Jackson is really good at bringing elements throughout her books that are nods to the other books. So there's things in like book one that Pip notices and she chalks up to, oh, this is the explanation for that, and you go, oh, okay. And then in the third book she's like, actually, what if this thing from the first book actually meant this all along? And you're just sat there going, oh my god, you're right. And she's good at like threading storylines and plots and things together. So I'm excited to see if this has any like nods and hints and little moments, insinuating things for the books that she had already written, but chronologically are events in Pip's life that are yet to come. So yes, those are all the books I got from charity shops recently-ish, in the first sort of quarter of this year. And I'm very excited about all of them. I cannot wait to get to them, and it makes me really happy because I got them all for great deals and it was giving money to charity. So I'm really trying to prioritize buying books from charity shops because it's a lot cheaper for me. And it gives money to charity, and it's, you know, reusing, recycling, getting things secondhand, which I think is very important, and what I'm trying to be aware of in my consumerism. Yeah, but also because things are cheaper, I think I buy more. If I only had like 20 quid, I would only get, you know, a couple of books with that. But for 20 quid in charity shops, I could get like 20 books. So the cost has gone way down, but the amount I'm getting, I feel, has gone up. So I think I need to find a balance. But all of these are ones I'm excited about and ones that I'd heard about pretty much. And so I think I am quite good at not just buying things for the sake of buying them, but buying things that I'd heard about and really wanted for a while, buying sequels to series I've already started, buying things as, you know, presents for other people. So yeah, I'm really happy with all the purchases I made. Do you shop in charity shops? Let me know. Have you ever had like a really good find in a charity shop that you're really proud of? Let me know, leave a comment down below, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye.